if you're in a relationship with somebody that's kind of putting the pressure on you to have sex, odds are they've been there, they've done that, they've gotten the t-shirt. And if they've been there, they've done that, and they've gotten the t-shirt, odds are they've got some baggage that goes along with that. So that's reality. That's reality for you. That's true. That's not just Scripture teaching us to abstain from it. We abstain from it to protect us from these things. But then, okay, reality sinks in. We know what can happen. But then, this is what happens with David. Guilt happens. Look what happens with David starting in verse 6, excuse me. So David sent word to Joab, who was the commander of his army. He says, send me Uriah the Hittite. Joab sent Uriah to David. When Uriah came to him, David asked how Joab was doing and how the people were doing and how the war was going. Very cordial, very nice. And then he says, then David said to Uriah, go down to your house and wash your feet. Uriah went out to the king's house, and there followed him a present from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord and did not go down to his house. When they told David, Uriah did not go down to his house. David said to Uriah, have you not come from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house? Uriah said to David, the ark and Israel and Judah dwell in booths, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are camping in the open field. Shall I then go to my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As you live and as your soul lives, I will not do this thing. Then David said to Uriah, remain here today also and tomorrow, and I will send you back. So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. And David invited him, and he ate in his presence and drank, so that he made him drunk. And in the evening he went out to lie on his couch with the servants of his lord, but he did not go down to his house. You see, we know that guilt happens with David because he calls up Uriah from war, says, hey, come on home. Go be with your wife. You have my permission as king. Go have sex with your wife, please, because she's pregnant. I'm trying to, make this right. Or not make it right, but I'm trying to cover my bases here. He says, I have messed up, and so I am guilty, so I'm going to devise a way that you can come and cover my butt. But it doesn't work out so well because Uriah was a man of integrity. He said, how dare I go lay with my wife when my commander and my men are out fighting? See, David already didn't go to battle. Now he's trying to cover it up by bringing Uriah back. So guilt happens. I've had a few friends in my life who have fallen sexually. A few of them Christians. There's one thing synonymous with every one of them. There's guilt that takes place once they've made this mistake. They live with a certain amount of guilt. It's not something they're proud about. I have no friends that have the testimony and said, yeah, I had sex outside of marriage as a Christian and it was awesome. It's the greatest decision I ever made in my life. Now there's an amount of guilt that goes along with it. There's some pain. There's some discomfort. I talked to you a couple weeks ago about having to have a very tough conversation with my wife, and I hadn't had sex before, Brittany. But there was some guilt, there was some shame because I had fallen short. And that same type of guilt and shame accompanies disobeying God in your sexual relationships. But then, guilt happens. He feels bad. But that's not the worst of it. See, this guilt can lead to more bad decisions. Look at verses 14 through 27. Uriah has been a man of integrity, has not gone and lain with his wife, and David's kind of hacked off about it, because how is he supposed to cover this up if Uriah did not sleep with his wife? Now they're going to know it's him. So then he says in the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. In the letter he wrote, set Uriah in the forefront of the hardest fighting, and then draw back from him, that he may be struck down and die. And as Joab was besieging the city, he assigned Uriah to the place where he knew there were valiant men. And the men of the city came out and fought with Joab, and some of the servants of David among the people fell. Uriah the Hittite also died. Then Joab sent and told David all the news about the fighting, and he instructed the messenger, when you have finished telling all the news about the fighting to the king, then if the king's anger rises, and if he says to you, why did you go so near the city to fight? Did you not know that they would shoot from the wall? Who killed Abimelech the son of Jerubbesheth? Did not a woman cast out an upper millstone from him from the wall so that he died at Thebez? Why did you go so near the wall? Then you shall say, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messenger went and came and told David all that Joab had sent him to tell. The messenger said to David, the men gained an advantage over us and came out against us in the field, but we drove them back to the entrance of the gate. Then the archer shot at your servants from the wall. Some of the king's servants are dead, and your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. David said to the messenger, thus shall you say to Joab, do not let this matter trouble you. For the sword devours now one and now another. Strengthen your attack against this city and overthrow it, and encourage him. You see, the more bad decision is that when he was guilty and tried to cover up his sin, and Uriah wouldn't comply because Uriah was a man of integrity, David said, well, the only way I guess I can figure this out to cover my butt is if I just kill him and take Bathsheba as my wife. So David murdered one of his mighty men to cover up his sin. Now, I'm not saying tonight that, hey, if you have sex with someone, you're going to go have someone murdered. That's not what I'm saying at all. Do not misunderstand this text. What I'm telling you is that this guilt will lead to more bad decisions if you don't allow the guilt to lead you back to Christ. If you don't allow the conviction that takes place in your heart when you fall to point you back to Christ, it will lead ultimately to more bad decisions. And if you don't believe me, here's some things that'll make you feel good before you leave here tonight. I'll show up on the screen. 214,750 abortions happen because of teenage pregnancies every year. 214,750 babies are murdered because of teenage pregnancy. We'll keep going. That means that nearly, it's 29% of teen pregnancies each year end in abortion. That's essentially 3 out of every 10 pregnancies end in abortion. And you know what? These teens have great excuses. Great reasons. Here are the reasons why. They were concerned that having a baby would change their lives and how it would impact them. Just not ready for it yet, essentially. I've got a life to live, you know? I mean, I've got homecomings to go to. I've got college to experience. You know, I can't have a baby right now. It's just going to wreck everything. That's the number one. Number two is this. I can't really afford a baby right now. Can't pay for it, so the best way to take care of this is just pretend it never was there. Then the third one. They feel insufficiently mature to raise a child. That's a legitimate feeling. Because the bottom line is, 27 years old. Cooper's 1. Even now there's moments that I don't feel sufficiently mature to raise a child. Because it's intense. It's hard work. Taking care of him when he's crying. And he keeps crying. You don't know what to do. You tried everything, but he keeps crying. And it tears you up on the inside. When he wakes up in the middle of the night and you want to sleep, but he's crying. He needs something. You've got to go take care of him. It means he gets sick. You have to leave. Go make sure he visits the doctor. You have to give him medicine. You have to feed him. You have to do all these things, and especially if you're a mom, wow, it just goes through the roof. So yeah, it's not convenient. It's not fun. But it's no excuse to kill a child. It's no excuse to cover up your mistakes because you had a little bit of fun. Because you had a pleasurable moment. And then you knew that possible end result of your pleasurable moment. And that end result happens. And so because you're guilty, because you haven't allowed your guilt to be dealt with in a healthy manner, you take the guilt and you turn it into anger, and you turn it